Hello everyone, very good evening. I hope I'm audible, loud and clear.
Yes, yes.
Awesome. Just give me 1 minute only and then we'll start.
हाँ मेन बात चलेगी. ज्यादा जरा तेजवी से पूछा तो मैंने कहा क्या कर
Okay, let's get started, folks. Everyone, right? In last session, I guess we had a first session, first demo session. Okay, I guess 2 weeks back. I hope am I right? So I guess 2 weeks back, okay, we had a one session, right? Where okay, we understand about few information, right? So for an example, okay, we understand about, okay, I guess we just understand about what exactly the cloud computing is, right? So in last session, we understand that what exactly the cloud. So okay, if you remember, I asked you the one question that what exactly the difference between the Ola, Uber and your personal car, right? I hope you remember. So you said that, okay, what exactly the Ola and Uber? So the benefit of the Ola and Uber is that the first, okay, the maintenance, right? So for an example here, in Ola and Uber, we don't need to pay any kind of maintenance. It's in completely the Ola and Uber responsibility, whether it is the your schedule maintenance, or let's say whether it is your running maintenance. Then we don't require I mean to say we will also get a driver, physical security. Then we also discuss that, okay, in Ola and Uber, we also don't require any parking space. Then the main benefit of the Ola and Uber is that whenever you want, you can upgrade it, and whenever you want, you can degrade it as well, right? So I explain you that this Ola and Uber is nothing but what is nothing but it's a your cloud computing, right? Whether it is AWS, whether it is Azure, GCP, Oracle, OCI, Alibaba, like this. And your personal car is nothing but your on-premises environment, right? So what exactly the cloud computing is? Cloud computing is which is completely on demand, right? And so when I say on demand, it means you can access whether it is compute, databases, storage, application, any other IT resources, and that is also via internet connection. Okay, it means what you just require internet connection, and whatever the resources that you build, right, you run, that what that is also just pay as you go pricing. It means what whatever you consume, you just need to pay accordingly. Then we also discuss about that this traditional computing model. Now, why the AWS or the Azure or GCP is more famous? or most of the organization, they already move their entire workload into the cloud, like an AWS, Azure, GCP, and most of them are currently in progress. Why? Because in on premises it means what? It's a completely like you the main is that you cannot guess the theoretical maximum picks. You cannot guess that, okay, currently I have a web application, then how many customer are currently connected, right? This required a lot of space. This also required the physical security, right? Then we also required the planning as well. It's what it is a capital expenditure, right? And if I already give the example that QA person, right? So the QA person required testing, and now to test the let's say if they want to test, let's say, some application on the Linux, then they require some hardware. Let's say they have a requirement of 2.4 gigahertz CPU, then they also require 8 GB of memory, 40 GB of hard disk, etc., etc. Then in on premises, what happened? It's a completely the long hardware procurement, right? But instead of that, this cloud computing, it means it's a completely flexible here, right? And the main benefit of this any cloud is capex turn into opex. What exactly it means? It means what? You don't need to invest any hardware, right? And this product is what? It's a completely variable cost to the company, right? It's not a fixed cost. And these are what? These are the temporary resources that you can build. So if you remember, then in last week, I have also given one example about the Flipkart, right? So the first big billion day, which is introduced in India, which was the completely flop. Now, why? The reason is that because they everything, okay, whatever they have, right? For I mean to say whatever they have, okay, like let's say their server, their payment gateway, their databases, everything is on premises environment. Their entire server is working, okay, everything is on premises, and obviously the problem is about this, right? Because what, the big billion day is a completely new concept for us, and everyone is trying to communicate to the Flipkart website from the mobile, or let's say from the website. And what happened, their on premises, their physical server is not that much compatible to handle the requests, and the result is crash. So what exactly the solution? Obviously, they cannot purchase the new hardware. The reason is that obviously, if they purchase a new hardware, then they cannot prove the ROI, that is return on investment. Because why? The resource utilization of the new hardware is hardly 2 or 5%, because their entire everything on premises server is working fine, okay, in other days, but they require additional compute capacity only whenever they have some, okay, big billion day or some festival days like this. So that also we discuss. And we also discuss about the cloud service model, like for example infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a services. We have a different type of services, and we also discuss about the cloud computing deployment model. So when I say cloud computing deployment model, it means about the cloud, right? Then hybrid mixture of cloud and on-premises. And there is also called the PCP, that is private cloud platform. And after that, we also discuss about AWS certification. Okay, so we discuss that, okay, there is a AWS Foundational Certification, which is a basic certification, that is Cloud Practitioner Foundation and AI Practitioner Foundation. Then we also discuss about Associate Certification, that is Machine Learning, Solution Architect, Data Engineer Associate. We also discuss Cloud Ops. Okay, earlier the name was the SysOps, and the Developer Associate. And we also discussed that the Solution Architect Professional and DevOps Professional. And this is a new certification which AWS introduced recently, and it's a generative AI developer professional, right? And we also discuss about there is also specialty certification, advanced networking specialty, security specialty, and machine learning specialty is going to retire soon. So that we discuss, okay, in the last session. So as I said that, okay, our main focus right, the training, okay, the focus on solution architect associate, right? Because why? Because as I said yesterday, if you want to start learning of the product, because this is a completely product, right? So before, let's say you want to go with the data engineering, or let's say you're from developer background or any background, you need to understand ABC of this specific product. And solution architect associate is what? It's a completely, okay, 360-degree certification, because here you understand each and every point. For an example, I'm also going to syllabus shortly that what exactly I'm going to cover. But here in Solution Architect Associate, it is going to cover everything that is in foundation, all the AWS foundation module, whether it is the authentication, storage, then virtualization, networking, then databases, then serverless, container, and more. So these are the main certifications, and I can say the Solution Architect Associate is a backbone for everyone, right? It is a backbone for each and every certification. So, okay, here, okay, first, let me show you what exactly this certification, what exactly the syllabus. And then after that, I'm also going to show you about how exactly we simply launch virtual machine. That is in virtualization, which is, I can say, the centralized, right? Which is a centralized point of cloud computing. Because why? If you want, let's say you want some web application, if you want to train your LLM model, you want to deploy your databases, or okay, you want to create your Active Directory or anything, you require a virtual machines. So this is a most usable service in AWS or any cloud. So this is a centralized services. So how exactly you can utilize, how quickly you can launch one web server, and how exactly you can quickly access that. So that I'm going to show you once I explain the syllabus of Solution Architect Associate. Let me open the certification. I'm into the syllabus. Just allow me a minute. Now, everyone, here you can see, okay, this is the syllabus, okay, the syllabus of the solution architect. As we discussed yesterday, why the solution architect? Because here you will understand everything, all the foundation services. That is also in deep. And if you are, if the AWS is completely alien for you, right, then you can also start with
Sir,
this solution architect as well.
hello.
Yes,
Sir, is Oracle?
it's an AWS, Amazon Web Services.
Oracle based RDBS which started.
So you mean to say what services in Oracle in AWS?
Not AWS in Oracle. RDBMS class which time is available evening.
Sorry, you need to ask the other person. This is not. I mean to say you are asking right question, but in wrong class actually.
Okay,
I'm not
sorry,
aware about
sorry,
this.
sorry,
So
sorry.
you can no problem. So you can just contact with us, right? So here
Okay,
is are
sir.
the number. We
Thank
will
you,
give the information.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you. So now here everyone, okay, as we discuss, okay, I'm going to share you some information, right? Information about uh, information about the syllabus. Yes, Ajay. So in case folks in between, if you have any questions, right, you can ask me directly. Ajay, do you have any question?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, in the AWS migration, you are going to teach migration like on-premise to cloud.
So there is a part, right? So there is a part of the DMS. Okay, that is database migration services, right? And that part, okay, is available in the databases because this migrations, right, from let's say from on-premises to AWS or AWS to Azure, it's a completely different topic. It is only here DMS is covered, that is database migration services, that is homogeneous migration and heterogeneous migration. Because the migration, it's a completely different. I mean to say, I need to start from 7R and everything. Okay, so that is completely different. So I'm only covering DMS, okay, in a databases. That is homogeneous and heterogeneous. Yes, Mangesh. So we provide the all everything, right? So we provide, I mean to say, for all study material, trainings, okay, and even those some important question that we are going to provide, Mangesh. Yes, Ajay, you can say something. Unable to unmute. Yes, you can unmute now.
Yes, sir, I got it.
Okay. Can I go ahead, everyone?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, no?
Yes. Good evening, sir. So
Good evening.
actually, I want to ask about the virtualization. How much required knowledge for AWS? Uh, uh, मतलब my main how much required knowledge of virtualization for AWS?
Yeah, so as I said last session as well. So if you want to start learning the AWS, so this AWS solution architect from where you can start learning. And for here, there is no prerequisites that you need to have some development knowledge or some programming. No, okay, because it's a completely I can say architecture. When I say architecture, it means design, manage, and planning.
Okay.
Okay, so here what you need to do is, okay, there is only one prerequisites while we learning the networking, but that also we are going to cover early as well. Got it?
So the already will be provide now
Sorry.
after class. Video will be available.
So Mangesh, your question is that, so you need to create your account, that is a AWS account. So AWS provide a free account. So after 15 July, AWS provide $200 credits to each and everyone whenever you create a new account, right? So you don't require any lab or something. So because whatever we configure everything from scratch, right? So the lab is specific, but right, but here, as I said, I'm starting everything from the scratch, so lab is not required. Okay, here only thing is that you need to create your own account, which will be discussed in the first session. And AWS provide $100 credit immediately and $100 credits later on whenever you perform something like storing data or launching virtual machine. Then AWS provide more $100 credits. So there is a no cost involved, okay, till the time of training. And Mangesh, as we discussed, okay, in the last session as well, that okay, I'm okay. So practical also you need to perform in the live session as well. Make sense, Mangesh? Great. Any other question, Ajay? I guess you are saying something, but again you mute.
Sir,
Okay, Ajay, you can just drop a message. I'll answer that query. So I'm going ahead, folks. So as I said, what exactly the syllabus that I'm going to cover right here. So before that, okay, before the module one, again okay, I'll again explain you about the basic about the cloud, okay, different type of cloud. So that I'm going to explain everything. And once I explain everything, prerequisites to learn AWS Solution Architect, then I'm going to start with this module 1. Now this module 1, yes, Vivek, I'll share you this shortly. I haven't discussed that the timing and durations, whatever. So that I'm going to share once I complete the syllabus. So just give me a 10 minutes. You will get the answer. Okay, Vivek? Great. So, okay, as I said that here, right? So first is about the, okay, architectural fundamental. So when I say architecture fundamental, it means what? It means that, okay, how exactly AWS manage their hardware, right? Because for us, it is a cloud, but AWS, they have their on-premises environment as well, right? So now here, okay, in architecture fundamental, I'm going to explain how exactly we can choose AWS data centers, what exactly the region, what exactly the availability zones which AWS provide. Okay, let's say you have some application, let's say you have some AR and VR, or let's say LLM model where you require the single digit millisecond latency. So how exactly you can manage edge locations, or let's say local zone. So that I'm going to explain here everything in the architecture fundamentals. And once we complete the architecture fundamental, I'm going to start about the account security. That is the first module is IAM. When I say IAM, it means identity and access management. Now here, okay, here, when I say IAM, identity and access management, it means what? Okay, it means I'm going to explain you how exactly you can create user groups, policies, roles, because and even though how exactly you can manage the AWS multi account, because in offices organization we are not using only single AWS account, we are using multiple AWS account. So how exactly you can manage those account, manage those security. And once we complete that, I'm also going to explain about networking part. Now, when I say networking part, it means what? Obviously, in the organization, we have a QA department, development department. Then we also have the, something projects, different projects. And every department, we have a different IP address. We want to isolate some of the network, or even though we also need to create some private environment where you don't want to allow any internet connection. So now the same thing we also want to create in a AWS, because AWS is like, okay, the QA team is also using development team. There is also UAT is also, even though there is a production account, or even though you also want to create some, completely offline, that is no internet connectivity network. So how exactly we can create that in AWS? So that I'm going to explain. So the main service here in the networking is about the VPC, that is virtual private cloud. And then I'm going to explain about the compute. When I say compute, it means virtualizations, which is the most, or I can say, centralized part of the AWS. So how exactly you can launch EC2, right? How exactly you can manage auto scaling? How exactly you can manage the load balancer as well? So that concept, okay, from end to end deployment, I'm going to explain in a module 4. Today also, I'm going to show you how exactly you can launch a simply Linux machine using the web server. So that also I'm going to explain. And after that, okay, the next is about the storage. So how exactly you can manage the different storage, right? In AWS, right? Now in AWS or any cloud, right? So you have a three type of storage. The first one, okay, is about the block storage. Then the second one is a file storage, and third one is a object storage. Right, so here I'm going to explain about what exactly the elastic block storage, elastic file storage, and the simple storage services, where you can store unlimited number of datas. with the 11 nines durability, that is 99.9999% of durability and 99.9999% availability. Then here in databases, I'm going to explain about RDS, relational database services. Then that is SQL, and NoSQL, that is the non-relation database services. So in database services, I'm going to explain about the RDS, where you have SQL, then Aurora, then Microsoft SQL, IBM DB2. So I'm going to explain about that. And in non-relation database, I'm also going to explain about the DynamoDB, even though Elastic Cache for Memcache, Redis. Then I'm also going to explain about the DynamoDB accelerator, which provide the microsecond latency. And then I'm also going to explain about the database migration services. Okay, where let's say you have some on-premises database and you want to convert to the, or let's say migrate to the AWS, okay, whether it is the same engine that is homogeneous, or let's say you have some different engine that is an heterogeneous. So that I'm going to explain, okay, here. And once we complete the databases, I'm also going to explain about the monitoring part, scaling part. Now, obviously, these are all environment and it is on the cloud, but still you require the monitoring. So how exactly you can monitor each and every resources, whether it is your network, your storage, your virtual machine, your database, how exactly you can monitor it. For an example, let's say there is some virtual machine which provide you, or let's show you the error message that there is an EC2 instance which provides 70% of utilization or 80% of utilization. So how exactly you can monitor that? So that I'm going to explain. And after that, I'm also going to explain about the automation. So now till now we configure everything, right? But that we configure everything manually, step by step we configure it, right? But now here, how exactly we can manage automation, right? So for automation, right, I'm going to explain about cloud formation tool. So when I say cloud formation tool, it means what? That is an infrastructure as a code. So when I say infrastructure as a code, it means you provide a templates, which is in the text file, that is in the YAML and JSON. You run that file in infrastructure as a code, and it create the infrastructure for you. So for that, okay, here, okay, you require some cloud formation tool, Elastic Beanstalk, AWS Solution Library, then AWS CDK. So that I'm going to explain in the automation, right? And okay, after that, I'm also going to explain about the container, okay, which is no, one of the hot topics, right? You heard about Kubernetes. So I'm going to explain about what exactly the container, why we require Docker, why we require Kubernetes. So that part is also very important. So in AWS, okay, there is a product called ECS, Elastic Container Services, then ECR, that is Elastic Container Registry, EKS, that is Elastic Kubernetes Services, right? And how exactly you can deploy. So you can deploy it on whether it on EC2 instance or AWS Fargate. So that I'm going to cover in the container part. And after that, I'm also going to explain the networking part two. In networking part two, okay, especially how exactly you can communicate from on-premises to AWS, right? That is an hybrid networking. When I say hybrid networking, it means in organization, they want to communicate, okay, like they want to create a communication from your AWS network to their on-premises. So that I'm going to explain in a networking too. And then, okay, I'm also going to explain serverless. Now, for an example, let's say you have some Lambda code, or sorry, my bad. Let's say, so now here, okay, let's say you have some Python code, right? And now to run that Python code, you require some computer or server. You require some application package, and then you can run it. So when I say serverless, it means without server, without computer, without virtualization. So in serverless, what exactly thing is that you can directly run your Python code on a Lambda. Okay, and Lambda run your code. So actually from the backend, okay, AWS obviously deploy your program on their backbone server and it show you the output. So that's the reason it's called serverless. So in serverless, I'm going to explain about the Lambda function. Then there is a messaging services like SQS, SNS. Then I'm also going to explain about the Athena services, or let's say some other services which is related to the serverless. So that I'm going to explain. And after that, I'm also going to explain about the, for an example, edge services. Okay, when I say edge services, it means DNS. Let's say you want to purchase some, okay, website, or you want to manage it. So how exactly you can manage? Like in GoDaddy. So in AWS, you have a Route 53. And I'm also going to explain the services which is on the top, which is on the edge, like web application firewall, how exactly you can prevent DDoS attack, how exactly you can manage the vulnerability manager application, right? And even though I'm also going to explain about some other security services in a edge services. And then, okay, we also discuss about the backup and recovery. Obviously, it is in the AWS, right? It is on the cloud, but still you need to create your DR. When I say DR, it means that is a disaster recovery. So how exactly you can create a disaster recovery? How exactly you can create a backups? So there is a AWS backup services. So how exactly you can automate the backups? Okay, what type of different type of disaster recovery in case if our primary environment is failed? So that everything I'm going to explain this. So these are the syllabus, and after that, obviously, we also have some test. Okay, here. Okay, so I'm also going to conduct two tests. One is surprise test, and one is a last test. Okay, so in the last test, okay, I'll before the conducting the test, I'm also going to explain about how exactly you can clear the exams, right? What are the important questions, right? I'm also going to share my projects. So I'm also going to share 4 projects with you, right? I'm also going to share my some own documents, okay, dumps, which will help you to clear the exams. So that I'm also going to explain. And all are the recorded sessions. So we also have our own LMS portal, right? So in case if you miss the class, so the video is still there. I guess it is available for 6 months to 1 year. I'm not sure. You will also get the information from our sales team, but the recording is available. You can see all the everything, the document which I'm going to share, or the links which I'm going to share, even though the recording links, everything is available for your future learning as well. Okay, so these are the syllabus, everyone. Do you have any question? Next class, sir, sorry. So we are going to start the session, but the date is, to not finalize yet. We'll start soon, probably from the next week as well, depend upon the admission. Any question, folks?
Any topics for DevOps?
So DevOps is a completely different, right? Where you learn about the Jenkins, Kubernetes, then Maven and all. So that is a completely separate.
No,
but
no, I'm talking about AWS DevOps. Because nowadays, every interview we give or any company, we apply, they expect that we should know at least AWS DevOps, not Jenkins and other things, but
Yes.
AWS DevOps like a CI/CD, code pipeline, other things.
See what happens. So this is an architecture, solution architecture. This is not a DevOps. So developer. To say DevOps specifically, where we are going. I'm not going to explain the code commit, code build, that is in CI/CD tools, or even though some other things. So yes, only one part is covered. That is a container part. That is in microservice oriented. So that I'm going to cover here. Because to understand a DevOps, first you need to clear this point, basic, and then you can go with the other models. You got the answer?
Yeah. So because the expectation nowadays, every even cloud engineer role we apply, they think that we should know the DevOps. That's why, I asked this question. Nowadays,
No,
they are thinking that AWS only is not enough, but you should have a DevOps basic knowledge at least. Yeah, they expect from us.
see, that is a next step, right? So, for example, you came here for the, for the breakfast. I cannot offer you the lunch, right? You cannot digest it. So that is a completely next part. So once you understand this part, okay, even though for your self learning with the AWS, because you understand the AWS, you already have a good connect with the AWS, so it is very easy for you to understand CI/CD pipelines, code commit, code build, or even the monitoring part. So only the CI/CD not cover, even though monitoring I'm going to cover, because in CI/CD or even though the DevOps, you also require some monitoring as well. So that part will be taken care. But the pure, when I say the continuous integration, integrity or continuous deployment, right? So that specific topic is not covered. You got it, Ajit? Sorry, who asked the
Yeah,
question?
yeah, I got it. And also you are going to cover well architecture review, where for
Yes.
cloud adoption framework.
Yes, AWS well architecture framework that I'm going to cover here. Okay, in this part. That is a sixth pillar, which I'm going to explain here.
And landing zone or control tower.
So that is also, these are the architect fundamental.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
You got it? Ajit, Ajay,
Is
sorry.
automation is also including Ansible course? Ansible
Sorry?
is automation is also including Ansible.
No, it is only AWS tools.
It's not
Not,
Ansible.
yes, no, not Terraform, Ansible, no.
Okay. Only for AWS.
Yes, AWS. That is a cloud formation, Elastic Beanstalk, AWS Solution Library, CDK, that part, and obviously Amazon Q, which is an AI generative AI services. So that I'm going to cover.
So you have to provide Linux basic.
So basic, I'll share you the documents and everything. You don't require here to understand a Linux basic for this class.
Okay. So currently I'm studying Linux. I have to study Linux, but I'm looking for a job. But I had not received for most of people have looking for cloud and AWS.
Mhm.
So I think AWS have studied is better to get a better professional, get better opportunity.
Yeah, you're right. But for the completing the architecture, 100% Linux is not required. So there are some Linux required, which I am going to explain in the compute part. All the basics, but not the deep dive in the Linux. You got it? Hello.
Sir, what is the class timing on daily basis?
Uh, so not yet decided, but it's either 7:30 p.m. or 8:30 p.m.
If it,
So it's a
it is
2-hour session daily.
So you have to networking is a IPv4 and IPv6. We have to complete DNS and DHCP, Apache hosting all. Have
No,
to
that I'm
complete
going to cover in the networking part. So for
networking part.
example, what is IPv4, what is IPv6, what is the the CIDR. Then even though I'm also going to explain that, okay, how exactly you can calculate it, right? Everything that I'm going to explain. So if
Yeah,
if you don't have from the networking background, right?
Hmm.
So that basic I'm going to cover, which is helpful to create a network in AWS.
Okay. You had to provide any hosting, provide any Nginx for Apache. You have to provide.
Sorry,
You have to provide any Nginx hosting or Nginx or Apache server
we can
hosting provide.
deploy. No, we don't
Okay.
require it. We can deploy it easily. So
Okay.
that's the reason we have a virtualization, right?
Okay. Thank you. So how many months you have to this AWS full course provide?
So I need a 55 to 60 hours.
6 hours.
Yes,
So daily, how many hours?
at least 2 hours minimum.
So okay, how many months?
At least you can say almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months.
Okay, I had to study Linux for 6 months in
Sorry.
Kerala. I have already studied Linux
Okay,
before
great.
1 year. 1 year.
Okay.
So currently I'm looking for a job and I have also studied 1 year for Linux administration course. Okay,
No, if you have a
so
Linux knowledge, then this is in cherry on top.
But currently, I have no full knowledge of Linux, and
Sorry.
currently I'm studying Linux full knowledge, and I had to also hosting and Nginx Apache and
See
DNS.
here, this is an virtualization. You don't require to deploy anything. It's by
Okay.
default is there.
Okay. So okay, thank you. And how much cost this?
So that you will get from our team about the
Hmm.
costs that you will get from our team
Yeah.
only.
You have to provide any placement support.
So support we have. So that's the reason I'll say I'm only the technical trainer. From the backend query, you can ask with our team. They will guide you. So the number
Yeah.
is here on the chat. You can just connect with them about the placement services, about the costs, okay, timing. So they will guide you everything.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Thank you.
I'm here to help you for the technical query because
Okay.
yeah, I don't have any knowledge about that.
Okay. So whichever you have to provide the class. I mean online.
Sorry,
Whichever you have to provide the class in online. Whichever.
which hour?
Yeah. Whichever you have to provide the online class.
So we connect. See, we have our own LMS portal so that you can connect, and all the recording is available there only.
Is it a recording class?
All the class recording is available. So whenever we complete the class, in case if you miss the class, you can go through it and you can go through the video, everything.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So Rohit, here the entire migration is not covered. Only database migration is covered here in architecture. That is in
Okay.
DMS. That is database migration services.
Database you have to provide database servers and PHP also.
Yes. Got it, Rohit? Any other question?
You have to
Can I
provide a
go?
WordPress.
See, this is a virtualized. We are in the cloud. You don't require these kind of things.
Okay.
So Vivek, this is not a restart. This is an architecture. Restart is completely different. Yeah, I can in Kerala or Tamil Nadu, I conduct mini restart program. Okay, so this is a completely different. Yes, Ajit, as I said that, okay, either we start 7:30 or 8:30. We haven't, okay, I mean to say we haven't finalized the timing yet, right? It is just a tentative, okay, so it is completely based on the majority. Once we fix the batch, it's based on the majority that we can go ahead. Okay, Ajit? Yes, Vipal. So, okay, I'm going to cover the two things, right? One is relational database service and non-relation database service. So in AWS, I'm going to cover RDS, and for non-relation database services, I'm going to cover the DynamoDB. For caching, I'm going to cover Elastic Cache for Memcache and Redis. And for the migration, I'm going to cover DMS, that is Database Migration Service. Vivek, I guess this will, I mean, we'll take a one-to-one question. That's because it's a completely different. Yep. Can I go ahead, folks? Anyone? And do you have any question? Okay. So, folks, what exactly? So, in case if you have any question, right, you can also drop in the chat. So, I'm just needing your 10-15 minutes now. I'm just going to show you that how quickly, right? So just now someone asked that whether we have a Nginx or whether we have, right, this and that. So you don't require it because the virtualization, the base you have, right? So I'm just quickly, right? I'm just quickly showing you how quickly you can launch virtual machine, and how exactly you can quickly access that machine so that you can use it for your daily any use cases, whether you want to use the Nginx, whether you want to use anything, you want to train your LLM model, right, for your foundation model, anything, right, you required virtualization, right? So here, I'm going to just provide the, I'm going to show you how exactly quickly you can launch Linux virtual machine using a web server. So Ajay, I guess you can just communicate with, we already spent a lot of time on the certification, just connect with us. Okay, so Sujal, for from our end, you will also get a certification. That is a course competence certification. But for this exam, I mean to say this certification, okay. So for this certification, you can just go through the link, right? So for that, you need to give the exam, and the cost is additional for that. That's a global exam. You can give this global exam from home or any center, which is an authorized center, right? And you can book the exam and you will get a certification for the 3 years. Just go through our last video, you will get more information. Okay, Ajay and Sujal, this link is for you. Now everyone, okay, here, Ajay said, I'm just going to quickly show you how quickly you can launch virtual machines. So now here, okay, I just want to launch one Linux server. All right, so I just give the name and what exactly I want, whether I want Linux machine, Mac OS, Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat, SUSE, Debian, right? And there are many, okay, AMI. When I say AMI, it means Amazon Machine Image. And okay, so if I choose a Amazon Linux, then which one exactly? Okay, which version of, right? So here you also you have mini versions, and in AMI you also get a lot of OS, including some application, let's say default SQL and all that. I'm also going to explain. Once you choose operating system, you need to choose what type of hardware that you require. Right. So here, if you choose this AC2, right, so these are different type of different type of machines, let's say general purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized, accelerate computing, storage optimized, HPC optimized as well. And each and every categories had some motto. Now let's say you want to work on the databases, or let's say you want to work on some let's say AI services, right? You want to work with the NoSQL databases or high performance compute. So here you can choose different type of compute power, right? So for example, here you can see this is an PE5EN, G4G, Trinium processor even. So if you select this Trinium processor, this which is specializing for the AI or to train your large language models, right? And even though here you can see there are many, I mean to say specific. Even though here in Trinium processor you will also get the more than 2 TB of RAM here, which is more than sufficient to your train the model. So based on this requirement, right? Based on your requirement, what exactly you want to choose? Whether you want to choose a Trinium type of instance or Infernicium, okay, or anything, so that you can choose it. From 1 GB to 2 or 4 TB of RAM, you will get it. So I just choose my only one virtual machine and 1 GB of RAM. You can also choose mini instance type here as well. And to connect this, right? Okay, if you want to access your Linux machine, then how exactly you can connect it, right? That is through the key pair. So let's say I want to create one key pair. Let's say, right? I'll just create one PEM file. And here you can see about the right? So here you can see this is a networking setting. So when I say networking setting, it means what? Here you can allow a specific network. So when I say network, it means where exactly you want to deploy it. Whether you want to deploy, okay, in your, let's say in production environment, development environment, or which environment. So I already create one production environment, or whether you want to choose a default environment. And here also you can choose in which location exactly you want to choose. So I'm going to explain about the multi-AZ deployment policy. That also I'm going to explain as well. And now, okay, this is on firewall. So which port that you want to allow? So at the moment, I'm just going to allow the 2 port, right? SSH and HTTP. And here I'm just going to deploy something. So what exactly I'm going to deploy? Let me show you. Just give me 1 minute. So I'm just running a script here, everyone. So these are the Linux command. Okay, so okay, everything I'm going to explain in deep dive. This is just a demo, so that's the reason I'm just going through the overview. So basically, what I'm just going to create one dynamic website, right? And I'll just say this is my website. This is a Mayor website, and quickly I can launch my virtual machine. So now you can see within a few seconds, right? You can see my Linux server is launched. It's a completely Linux base. I'll also get the public IP address. I'll also get the private IP address. And here I just allow only port 80 and 22. And I can simply, okay, paste it. Let's launch the instance first. And you can see my website is running. So I can deploy my virtual machine. I can access, okay, my web server within a few seconds here. Right, folks? And even though if you want to work on your Linux machine, then I can simply connect here. And you can see this is my Linux machine and I can access immediately. So now the web server Apache is already deployed here. And if you want, you can also deploy more on this. And the main great thing is that whatever you consume, you just need to pay accordingly. It's not, there is no any kind of licensing requirement here. It is just a pay as you go services. So same thing if you want to work on the container part, even though the virtualization databases part, everything is there with free, sorry, that is an pay as you go services. It's a paid. It's not a free. Nothing is free in this world. Sujal. But if you are practicing, okay, for the practice session, AWS provide a 6-month trial account where AWS provide $200 credits. Got it, folks? This is very easy. Hardly it takes 2 or 3 minutes to launch. And if you don't require, you can simply terminate it. That's it. Now everything is formatted, done, and you can just terminate it. That's it, and the submitter is also stopped. Got it, folks? So this is just a demo which I'm going to showcase you. Obviously, to explain this EC2 instance, I require 1 hour more than 2 hours. But just to give information how quickly we can launch it. So this is what exactly you can launch it within a few seconds. Any question, folks? Any question, folks? If you have any question, please feel free to ask me. Any technical question? No, Sujal, there is a no session tomorrow. We will, for the final member, once we have a list of final member, we will share the information about the next session. Any question, folks? Okay, I guess there is no question. Okay, in case if you have any question, any queries, if you want link, some session link, anything that you require, please contact us. You can call us on this number, Sujal, or a other member as well. You can just call us on this number. Okay, you will get all the information. So thank you so much for joining the session today. I hope you enjoyed the session. And now let's meet, okay, on the next Thursday. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, folks. Bye bye.
में जो है